of CovInspiration with Dayo is where I am delighted to begin a new series. It is a series that looks at the legislature and the parliament, the house of okay, I was going to say the House of Representatives, but I don't mean the representative as in the National Assembly in Abuja. I mean the house where people who are representing the people come together. In Lagos, we call it the House of Assembly. We have the privilege of starting today with the Deputy Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, an extraordinary gentleman, a law graduate. As a matter of fact, I'm excited because I was going to go to England to study international law and diplomacy. And my guest today actually happens to be a master's degree graduate of international law and diplomacy. His first degree was in agriculture. He's well read and well learned. He's had various experiences in government from both the legislature and the executive. He was a two-time local government chairman in Lagos Island. He's also a three-time House of Assembly member. Not just a member, this is the second time as Deputy Speaker of the House. We have the privilege of having with us tonight His Excellency Mr. Deputy Speaker, the Right Honorable Wasiu Eshinlokun. Good to see you, Deputy Speaker. How are you, sir? Hello, can you hear me, sir? I think Mr. Deputy Speaker is having a network.
How was the house?
Can you hear me, sir?
The house.
Hello? Can you hear me, sir?
House
I think we're having a bit of a Deputy Speaker. Okay, if you bear with us, we're going to connect with him and let him know that we're now live. Deputy Speaker, can you hear me, sir? Hello, sir. I think he's having a bit of a network freeze. Please bear with us. The Deputy Speaker will join. Let me just ring the people next to him to let him know. I think we're having a bit of a network challenge from the side. Mr. Deputy Speaker, we're live now. Can you see me, sir? Okay, we're live now, and we can see him, but we can't hear him. Okay, yes. And the network is freezing. Yeah. Okay. Can you see me, sir? Okay, I think we're trying to have Mr. Deputy Speaker
I don't like
to connect. It's freezing. Please bear with us. It's just a bit of a network challenge. Please bear with me. Let me try to reach the Deputy Speaker. Please bear with us. But wait for the Deputy Speaker to reconnect with us. While we're waiting for him, I think we'll just keep enjoying each other's company. He's online, but his network is having a bit of a challenge. And so they're trying to switch the gadgets to another gadget. So please bear with us while the Deputy Speaker reconnects on a different gadget. Please bear with us, everyone. And then we can take it from there. Just a bit of a minute, and we would be fine. Please bear with us. The Deputy Speaker is already here, and we look forward to having a great conversation this evening. Thank you for your patience, everyone. We are tested all of this. Nigerian network can be interesting sometimes, but we're excited that the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker has given all his attention tonight for this conversation. I'm sure this one will be better. Okay, let's try this other one. Yes, this one is better.
Okay.
Yeah, good to see you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. How are you, sir?
Good to see you too. Hope you are good.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Can you share
It's okay.
Excellent. So welcome to CovInspiration. We'll be looking forward to this conversation, and it's an opportunity for a lot of our viewers to understand what happens in the parliament and in the legislature and the role that the parliament plays in our democracy. I'm going to start from you, sir. My first question, Mr. Deputy Speaker. You have been chairman of a local government 2 times. You have been party secretary. You have been, for at least 3 different parties, SDP, APC in recent times, 2014. You played many roles. You're in parliament for the 3rd time. First in 1999 to 2003, then in 2015 to date. You've been in parliament for 3 tenures. You've been there, you've done that, you've won the T-shirt. Did politics choose you, or did you choose politics?
Both.
Tell us about the journey.
The journey started right from when we were young. When you're in primary school and they make you head boy, you think you have a leadership trait, and then you went to secondary school, you were made a library prefect. You went to university.
Wow.
You went to university, and you were elected as the first president of your department association. Then you went ahead and the director of sports for your faculty or college.
Wow.
And from there, you became the director of sports also for the student union government of your university.
Wow.
You will know that all along, you were in politics, and also I could remember vividly that after my secondary school, I didn't get the JAMB form because there was a problem in my school. We were suspended, and later we were recalled, and I was allowed to write my school certificate.
JAMB.
So to speak. And I came out with grade 1. So I came back home, and that was 1980. And since I didn't get JAMB form, I thought I would just go and work. And my father put my name down for work for the UPN. UPN government was there now. And the leader of the party now, it was called Alhaji Akim Habib, saw my result and insisted that this is the grade 1 they have in Eshinlokun. How can grade 1 start to work that? He should just go to school. And I was like, I didn't get any form. I said, you could do A-levels. It's still on. So it got me into Lagos State College of Science and Technology, we call it then, now Lagos State Polytechnic. And now see the power the political class has to do certain things, positive things. And I know of so many Eshinlokun boys and girls that were admitted into Lagos State Polytechnic then. And also after graduation, came back home, started work, started as teacher at St. Gregory's College. I was the senior agricultural science teacher in the St. Gregory's College of Alende. And at the same time, I started consulting for Lagos Island local government as their agricultural consultant. So I wrote the agricultural blueprint for the local government. That was how I started. And then when during SDP, I followed the youth because the elders were that is only one slot out of 26 slots that we're going to give to the youths of the area. And the youths were rebellious, so I had to lead them to confront the elders then that we should get more slots. But they didn't budge. We had to go for election. And at the end of the day, out of the 26 elective position, we were able to get 21 out of 26. 21, and I was elected the vice chairman of the ward. That was 1990.
Wow.
That was how the journey started.
They gave you 1, but you got 21.
Yes, because we actually went for real elections, and then God was with us. There were 2 major factions, the Jakonde and the Daudu faction. We were the new breed. So we said we wanted more, they didn't. So we went to election. So at the end of the day, the faction that came to us with more positions, That was the fashion that we went with, and then we came up victorious, and then we thank God, and that was how we started. From the vice chairman, I became the chairman of our group, the Primrose Group, because our chairman was in the Babaja Conde's faction. So I was the chairman of the group. I was the chairman of the group with notable leaders. Le Demola Adede was also chairman of his own ward. Alaji Arulambo was the chairman of A1. The deputy governorship candidate of SDP, that was Dr. Mashado, was also chairman of Ward D1 around campus area. So I was young, not married. So I was sitting with all of them.
So you were not too young to run, sir?
No. Not too young to run at all. Not at all. I was in my...
At that time, you were also young. So you were also not too young to run.
But the difference was, I was not running for the parliament, honorable members, either the state or the national or whatever. I was running for the party post. And it was at the party post that they now discovered me. They encouraged me from SDP to the party and so and so. So in 1999, I also contested for House of Assembly in 1991, and I also contested for House of Representatives. Though I was not given, basically because some people say you were not married, you were too young, there were other people in the party, just let us give this laws to them. So it was not a problem to me. Just felt that after each attempt, I would just take it the way. I found that is what God wanted, and I say at the time. So in 1998, so to speak, it was even them that called me and said, Wasiu, which one do you want to go for? Sit House of Assembly or House of Reps? So I now chose House of Assembly, because it came before the House of Representatives, before they changed their minds. So I took the House of Assembly. That was how I got elected with little or no resources, so to speak. I became an honorable member. Money was not an issue then. And I became a member of the Lagos State House of Assembly. And then up and down, but we thank God where we are today.
You know, there's a lot to learn from you, sir, and we're really looking forward to, because a lot of people are also watching this. I'm going to come back to ask you about youth. There's a lot to learn from your political experience, in particular for young leaders who want to go into public politics and public service, to know really what is your own party politics 101 and also organization. Because if you were saying that at the time they were offering you one, but you among yourselves were able to come together and got 20 or 21 instead of one, then it takes a level of political sagacity and intelligence that many of the young people who want political aspiration today must understand. Maybe we should actually go deep into that. A lot of young people want to, not too young to run that you're familiar with. What are your thoughts for young people that want political relevance?
Well, they should be party workers. It was when I was the vice chairman of my party in my ward and also chairman of my group that I realized that I had all the potential to run for all the offices, because I saw those who were coming out for the House of Assembly, those who were coming out for House of Representatives. I thought that with my qualification, my results, I'm in a good state to run. But I had worked for the party. I had helped them to organize local government elections. And Demola Dele had won, as it were, the chairmanship of Lagos Island local government. Was a senior brother who also encouraged me a lot and was elected. So I was part of the process. So when the elective position order came up and I said I was going to run, they were not saying that, where were you? They would say, yes, you contributed, you were part of us, but you were too young, and that there were others who are more qualified, they've worked for the party, they didn't get anything, please allow this to run. But it was not as if, where were you coming from, you didn't contribute. No, that was not the issue. The issue was the length of time that we were in the party. There were some people who in 1983, they were just 3 months into government before the army struck. That was
military coup,
military struck, 1992. So we thought that we should just give them to encourage. Just spend 3 months we encourage them. So you understand, not that you are not qualified, not that. And each attempt that I made after it may have ended, in some other people's favor, I always work for them. And I thought that I was young, I would get my chance. So from party, I worked for the party for like 10 years. We were in the June 12th struggle together. And I had my role. We played, and it was all well and good. When the interim government came, I didn't join. I was with the Primrose,
Progressive.
Nadeco, all through the struggle. And so when in 1999, they had no issue. They were just like, which one do you want? Sit House of Assembly or House of Reps? So it was my choice.
Because in local balance, is that the right word?
Yes, I had contributed, and they now have trust. They now have trust in me. And with little or no resources, I became elected. Though, money was not an issue then. It was just the perception of the leadership of the party, and the people were ready to vote based on what they perceive as the expectation from the party. SDP, the party of the progressives, those who fought for June 12, they were ready massively, especially in Yoruba land, to vote for us, and they did just that. We didn't have to beg anybody, didn't have to give anybody money to vote. We only campaign. They know the issue. People were with us, and they voted.
And sir, if you allow me to deviate a bit from my point, because there are a few things that are coming out from your responses. Where did we get into the monetized politics of today, where the citizens now places a lot of demand on elected representatives for aspirants? Where did things get wrong?
And the thing is, 1999 was who you were in the struggle, especially in the Yoruba land, and the pay wasn't good. For me, as a member of the Lagos State House of Assembly, my salary was 27,000, and they would take the
Naira.
27,000 naira, and the chairmen were paid about 16,000 or less than 20,000, so to speak. So
it's a different ballgame today.
We were not getting money. So, and we never even, it was not an issue because we were not even expected to be paid anyway. We were trained to just work, do what you think is right for your constituency or your party, and you know that reward may come, may not come, but you know that you are satisfied within you that you have worked for the party. So 27,000, and I remembered that Asiwaju was worried about the money because he brought experts, technocrats from private sectors to come and work in the government, and was saying all these Cardoso, they are going to get 27,000. Commissioner and the House of Assembly members, I think the salaries were almost the same. So,
wow.
But we served them happily. And when around 2002, it was revealed to about 200,000, I remember vividly.
Wow. From 20-something thousand to 200.
I think they know the reality. I said 200,000 then. So we were still working, and I didn't get the chance to get re-elected because there were issues in my constituency or local government. But Asiwaju made me senior special assistant to the governor, to himself, and then on politics and legislative affairs. So I was still overseeing the Lagos State House of Assembly for Mr. Governor and the party. And then the salaries probably later became good. And probably in 1999 or thereabout, when we came in, we were all given official cars on that. So people were thinking, how can these people get official car? Forgetting that even the permanent secretary, your level as a member of the house is above the commissioner. The commissioner are above the permanent secretary. They will be given houses. They were all given their accommodation and official residences, and commissioners were also given cars. Why is it an issue giving honorable members cars? But it was like alien to the majority. of the populace. So people started picking interest, and maybe gradually, we started having people with money coming in to contest, rough shooter with everybody, bringing their resources. It became the competition became very fierce, and it is the populace that will now, or the public that will decide. Formerly, it was what have you done for the party, so the party that will decide what have you done. They grade you and say, okay, you can do. You still contest, but you have the full party support whenever.
Sorry, I think we have a bit.
It was like service to the community. So I thought people got interested like 2007, 2011, bringing a lot of money into the politics.
And that today has shaped the way that politics is being run across the country and across the nation, in particular in Africa, as a matter of fact. Before I come back into that, I want to go here. You have been lucky to have gone through all of these experiences over the last 20-something years, if not more, but in particular in this republic, this advent of democracy. What impact would you say that the representation, either in the executive or as special assistant or as a member of the parliament, has done to your people?
Well, let me say that the people of my constituency will be the best judge, but the fact that because when you start speaking about yourself, it turns into self-adulation and what have you. But the most important thing is that when you get the chance to represent the people or to work for the people, like when I became the chairman of my local government, there are certain things I made sure that I did. Despite the scarce resources, I made sure that I put education, health, infrastructure into the front burner. For education, I was like, there was nothing I would spare in making it the public to have access to the public education. We made sure that all the public primary school in my local government, all the pupils from creche to primary 6 were given uniform, we were given sandals, we were given socks, we were given exercise books, they are given textbooks, all of them without exception, and bags. And people thought it was practically impossible to do all of that. And I remember telling people I would do it. I remember also some people, my leaders, calling me and said that, Wasiu, are you sure you can do all of this? I said, if I have to do it, I will get it done. And we did it for 7 consecutive sessions without fail. Without fail. Secondly, we made sure that each ward, I have 10 wards in Lagos and local government, each ward was given 5 million naira per ward to decide whatever project they want in that particular ward. We had like 10, that was 50 million naira per year, that the people would decide, especially what they wanted. And they would decide, okay, we want this road, we want that. Through that, we were able, by the time we were done with the one that we initiated ourselves, we were able to do close to 100 roads. In my ward, for example, in Lagos, Eshinlokun, we had 2 wards in Eshinlokun, B1, C1, so to speak. I made sure that before I came, the roads, especially the inner roads within the ward, were untarred. A lot of stones on the road. I made sure that I didn't leave any street untarred, either paved or tarred in those 2 wards. And I also made sure that we did roads in other wards. The major roads that we did, many of them, like John Street, practically when there was rain in John Street, you can't pass it. John, Gadon Gonro, Church Street, and so many others that I can't remember now, but many, like 100, because one per ward is 10 times 6 years, that is 60 roads, aside from the one that we initiated ourselves. In education also, make sure that we didn't leave any school without rehabilitation. We rehabilitated all schools. Give them
Did you build any schools?
Facelift. all the primary schools that were within our purview to do, all the public primary schools, we rehabilitated them, we painted them, do all sorts. And there were two that we couldn't rehabilitate. They were beyond redemption, so to speak. That is Ansarudin Elegbata. They were beyond redemption. So we had to pull them down. And basically, were swampy. Whenever the government builds one or two things, it will find a way of either slanting or whereby the ground floor was not accessible to the pupils, very dirty. So I had to pull them down. We built modern primary school in Ansarudin Alakoro. For Anwaru Islam Elegbata, what we did basically was, okay, we now found out that on the Follow Bobo area, there was no secondary school. So we now work with the community and we turn it into the Elegbata community secondary schools. And now it is standing. We have the junior secondary school, we have the senior secondary schools. For the elderly, we make sure that we started with quarterly. We'll give them money. We give them, we'll do medical tests for them. We're doing medical tests. We run hypertensive, diabetic, and then food stuff and money. And we were doing for like close to 500 elders every 3 months. Later, we found that we could, resources can take more. We changed it to 2 months by monthly, and they so love it. So by the time your election came, the way and manner they were voting for us, we say it's because of the chairman, because of the party, and we're doing very well. We're now becoming household names in the local government. Find that if you work for the people, they will appreciate. It's not about sharing money. It's about them seeing your impact in the society. We made sure that all those that we did, the drainages were covered. We were not leaving open drains again. So the impact was accepted by the electorate, and ever since they have been very, very receptive and supportive of my aspiration.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I'm concerned a lot about sustainability. Many times we have had representatives do great work, but as soon as they leave office, those works are not sustained after. I know you pushed for the constituency project development bill. I know you. Can you hear me, sir?
You were talking about constituency project development.
Yes, sir.
Law.
Bill.
Yeah.
Yes, that law that you pushed for. Does it look into the sustainability of such interventions? We can't see you, so I think your camera is dark.
I couldn't get that.
Yes, I can't see you, so your camera is dark. I don't know if it's just me.
It's dark.
I think maybe the gadget fell down or something. Sure. I can't see your face at all, but I can hear you, which is the good part of it. This constituency project development bill, does it look into sustainability? What really does the bill talk about? I think Mr. Deputy Speaker's gadget is having a bit of an issue, but I'm sure that it's going to be back. Please bear with us while we get Mr. Deputy Speaker back. Please bear with us for a second. Mr. Deputy Speaker would. Okay.
If you're talking if we are talking about constituency project development law or
bill,
then
the law,
it's just a replica of what we're trying to do at the local government level by allocating resources to all the wards. each ward will have 5 million naira. What we did at the state is the fact that people were just moving motion, bringing calling attention of government of the day to the various developmental or infrastructural need of their constituency, wanting the governor or the government to do one thing or the other, and the thing will not be captured, as it were, by the appropriation law. So they will just move the motion. There will be expectation from the constituency, and there will not be resources to execute it. So at the time we call for execution, the executive will now say it's not captured. It wasn't captured by the budget. So it was now becoming an issue. So some of my colleagues, they met in my house in the morning. In the morning, I was the chairman of business rules, slating all motions to be moved. And I had issues with my colleagues wanting to move one motion or the other, and I felt that that could be a better way of doing this. So we talked and we spoke about it, deliberated, and felt that we should find another way of doing all of this. That was why we now thought that by incorporating into the budget, by making sure that certain percentage of the resources of government, especially on capital project, is allocated to the various constituency, will be a better way of government reaching the nooks and crannies of the state. And it should be to the benefit of government, also due to the benefit of the populace, because they will be able to see firsthand the impact of the government. So that was how it came about.
Yes, well, how do we ensure the sustainability of all of these projects that are being done at constituency level, in particular by representatives? How do we ensure that they are, for example, in the first, the quality of the idea in the first instance? You will go to most constituencies and you will see the constituency project being a borehole and a tank of water that stops working after a year or 6 months. How do we ensure that first the project is of quality, it has direct impact on the people?
I get your point.
Yes, sir.
I got your point. The thing is that from the law that was done in Lagos State that was taken to the National Assembly, it was the law of Lagos State that was taken to the National Assembly. Specifically, Okadigbo came to us from Dr. Mamura, who was our speaker then, to give him a copy of the constituency project development law. It was signed then. The idea is this: there will be honorable member and 4 others members, not members of House of Assembly, will form a committee to do the CDC, 1 or 2 leaders of the community, and 1 other person with the honorable member who identify the various projects they wanted done in that particular year in that constituency. They will submit to the House. The House collect all the submissions of the various honorable members. They will take it to the executive. The executive will cost it and say, okay, your project will cost so and so. If it is within your budgetary allocation to be taken, if it is more than, they will now tell you to prioritize. You prioritize and you return. From there on, it will become the job of the executive to award the contract to whoever they desire, either company, individual. It is the responsibility of the executive to award the contract. The job of that honorable member and committee is just to make sure that the job is done properly. It's not even their job, but they will see to it, because naturally when the executive awarded a contract, they will make sure that if it is a road now, it is incumbent on the engineers. They will award it to a contractor. It is incumbent that will be a resident engineer attached to the project. It is when the engineer says the job is well done that they get paid. And now, even after certifying it, they take it to the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. That will also supervise the project and certify it good or bad. So through that, they were able to monitor. I don't know how it operates at the national level, but that is how it operates, supposed to operate in Lagos, and I'm not sure we have that kind of issue. That kind of issue. For maybe you were talking about local government, whatever, that the tap and turn dry, it might be due to various issues. It might even be from the source. might even be from the water corporation, might also be from the water corporation. Also, find that digging big boreholes, especially what they call mechanized borehole, I found that it doesn't work in Lagos Island or mainland. It doesn't work. It's just simple borehole. Who do the job? If you continue to do mechanized, all the mechanized one done by the federal government, maybe through whatever, I mean, maybe our people are yet to get the necessary competence and expertise to do all of those kind of borehole. For some time, after working for some time, they get dry. But simple borehole do work. But now, Lagos State do not allow everybody to now start digging borehole, especially in urban area where you have access to tap water. You don't need any borehole. So you do more concrete job.
Let's go quickly into the achievements in the Allo Chamber before we then also tap on the experience for the young people and then talk about how you're working with now. In the Allo Chamber in particular, because okay, let me ask you this question, Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir. Do you think that legislature, that citizens have the wrong knowledge of the job of the legislator? Is that a sentiment that?
Absolutely. They have a very wrong idea of what the job of the legislator should be.
So what does the job? What does the job?
The job is simple. One, basically, is for him to represent his constituency. That is why when they say Honorable Wasiu can represent the constituency, one, he will represent the constituency, making sure that he attracts, as it were, dividends of democracy to the local government. Two is lawmaking. Lawmaking is not particularly, you may sponsor bill, you sponsor bill private, it could be a bill by the House, but most importantly, the bill sponsored or brought by the executive to the House has to be deliberated by honorable member. That is a knowledge that is only inherent in you through your experience. Doesn't matter if you are a lawyer. If you are a lawyer, you only know the law, because most of the bills they will bring will be on one subject matter. If they bring laws on bills on water corporation, they will be written in simple English that you can understand. When they bring on social amenities, it will be in simple English. It is your knowledge as in experience in life, what you are exposed to, that will guide you. And your contribution in such instances do matter a lot. That is the second job, that is lawmaking. Thirdly, you also do confirmation of honorable commissioners and other statutory appointees of government. You also legitimize the actions of your government. If they say June 12 is Democracy Day, doesn't stop there. The legislature has to give it the necessary legal framework and legal backing by passing it into a law. It's not by just executive order, Mr. Governor, proclamation, so to speak. No, it has to be given the necessary legal framework. When they do that, it behoves on the legislature to give it the necessary framework, legal framework. Also, we settle a lot of disputes, a lot of petitions in the House of Assembly, written by various individuals wanting one thing or the other. And when the parties to the dispute submit themselves to the House of Assembly for adjudication, it builds on the Speaker to allocate such issues necessary to either the Committee on Public Petition and Judiciary, or if it thinks that there are other competent honorable members that can deal with such issue, who are allocated to them, and they will make sure that everything is settled amicably without going through the legal gymnastic or whatever. So it's a whole lot of jobs. And also
you oversight the executive when they are doing things. You make sure that resources of government is not wasted. Resources of government is not wasted, and you also check, as it were, fraud. And so those are some of the things that is being done at by the legislature. Legislature basically is democracy. Is democracy, because that is where you have representatives from all nooks and crannies of the state, as it were, or all nooks and crannies of the nation. Understand? To deliberate on state matters, give advice, or give it legal framework. So thank you. I'm waiting for Dayo Israel. I think we're having issues again with the internet. I hope it is resolved.
Yeah. Okay, it's back on now.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yes, sir. We're back on now.
Yeah,
okay, sir. Sorry, the internet has a mind of its own. Now you're talking about the role of the legislature. Mr. Governor has said that his vision is to make or to build a greater Lagos. What role has the House of Assembly got to play in actually achieving that vision?
The real thing is, whenever it's done with what he wants to do, either doing the policy, policy has several steps. One is for you to think that there's a problem, identifying various problems or in particular problems. The next thing up for the government executive to do is to think of ways, how do we achieve all of this? Then the third one is for him to choose one out of such ways or methods with which he wants to achieve the stated objectives, or you can choose a combination of ways to achieving it. After all of that, do the legal, do the research and what have you. You have to draft it into a bill. That bill will now have to be brought to the legislature. That is when we will now look at it and give it the necessary backing. That is when it can now access public fund. After that, the cost implication should be stated so that the legislature will know what is the cost implication of this government policy. Then you move from there to implementation. The implementation also must be done by the executive. After which, there will be what is called, we now look at it and see if government fund is wasted or not. But if ordinarily you think that it is done, there will not be any issue. You understand? We try to, but if there are issues, we look at it and say, okay, is government fund well utilized? So there is no way the government can, or the governor can do anything, think about it, just put government money into it. It has to be broad whenever it's done with all its planning, the ways they want to achieve them. They bring this to the legislature. The legislature will now see the ways in form of a bill, pass it, and now give it. We also look for monies for the implementation of that project. They will now go for them to go and execute. We can now, after that, appraise. The government can appraise by itself what it has done. That is the last step. Appraise what it has done, if it is done correctly, if they do it with minimal resources, if government resources is not wasted. Also, the legislature, if they think there is a waste in government resources, can also do an appraisal or what they call an oversight by Section 128 of the Constitution.
Bless you, sir. Bless you, sir. I know that job creation is not the job of a legislature, but part of the work of the legislature is to attract opportunities to their constituency. Have you been able to use your office to help to lift people out of poverty or unemployment in your constituency?
Well, all of these bills that we are making, so to speak, there will always be room. There will be room for CEO, legal advisor, and those who are going to be employed in such agency or agencies of government. Also, you can, as it were, though it's not your job, because one of from all the jobs that we stated, it is not your job, but you try to do one or two things from your own resources, from the money that you think you have earned from your job. But for me, basically, I like education, so to speak. And right now, what we try to do is to buy 2 buses for the students of our secondary schools. You know, some of them or most of them go to Akonde Dawusi on Osborne, and so we provide them buses for them to take them from Lagos Island to Osborne. We also try to buy jam forms for all the or for most of the students in the final year. We also buy GCA forms for all of them. And for those who are in tertiary institutions, what I try to do is to make sure that we give scholarship, so to speak, some monies to some of the students. Last year we did 40, close to 40 something students by giving those who are in institutions. This year, by God willing, we are going to increase it to 50 or 60, God willing, depending on. Now they can even apply now www.Eshinlokun -sunny.org. They can apply and then it will be assessed. But the number we are going to is 50 or 60. We are now at 40. We're now at 40 because those of them that we gave last year, we automatically qualify for this year because since if they bring their transcript and show us that they are still in school, they automatically qualify. So we put additional 10 or 20 to make 60. And for those who have passed out or graduated, we also put placement. So there is an educational committee working on that. That is what I like most. Naturally, Lagos Island is blessed, you know. For now, you know, the blue line, the railway will come and terminate at Lagos Island. So naturally, it will terminate at Lagos Island. And you will be seeing it at Marina now, it's at Marina. And that is coming to Lagos Island. And that will be ancillary services for that train. There will be depot, there will be terminal, there will be new bus terminals in Lagos Island, and all what have you. That will create a whole lot of employment, So, and there's a lot of money being expended on that project for Lagos Island.
Is it
we've been able to encourage our people whenever there is employment opportunity. We try to bring it to our constituency to know there is vacancies here and there, and then we encourage them. Please do the needful. This is not the time for a representative to just put your name down and you get employed. You need to do the needful. Fill your form online. Nobody can fill your personal data for you. You have to do it yourself. Put the personal data. They will indicate what courses and whatever they want. If you are qualified, please do the needful. Get your printout. Do the interview. Please pass the interview. Pass the examination. So.
I know a lot of people feel that just bringing their CV, you are going to get them the job. And I know
It doesn't work like that anymore. It doesn't work like that anymore. It doesn't work like that. You need to fill those forms online. You need to write your examination. Now they do it online. You can, before they will call you, they give you your date, you go write the examination, they mark it. They will also organize oral interview, pass all of those. Pass all of those.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, do you really think that we can fight poverty to a standstill?
Yes.
And corruption?
Yes. Yes, you can fight poverty to a standstill. And that most governmental job is alleviating poverty.
That's the issue that I have, sir, is that we keep alleviating the poverty by creating opportunities for 30,000 allowance opportunity, 20,000. How can we actually create programs and policies, not just in Lagos, but nationally in our country and across Africa, that will bring people out of total generational poverty?
Yeah, I'm trying to explain that. One, when the government sets up the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, the idea is to bring people out of poverty. The idea is to sustain people in business, to increase their capital base. You tell your Employment Trust Fund what you want done. They give you capital. You pass the necessary test they will set. If you're already in business, all they do is to come and inspect your business premises, make sure that you are into that business. They give you the necessary fund. All of that is to take people, be self-sufficient, be in business, necessarily to take you out of government. When government decide to say that if you are a student of LASU, you are coming to LASU, you don't pay so and so. It's not that you're going to pay 500,000, 200,000 like they do at Babcock and any other thing. The government pays the salaries of the lecturers and what have you. It does not put strain on the purse of the parents. And it also will give that student a head start in life. If he finishes the education, it's sure that he will certainly get a job at one point or the other. And if you are a graduate and you get a job, you are sure to become sooner or later a middle income earner. For those who don't even get the necessary job, the experience that they have gone through, the exposure that they have, the way they face life is different from a stark illiterate. They see life from a different perspective. And now you will see that most of them are into so many things and they are doing very well. Like when I was in government, what I did was to establish the Lagos Island Vocational Training Center. I worked with the Lagos State Vocational Training Board and the Federal Ministry of Culture, culture, and together we were training people. Either you are a graduate, you are a school cert holder, or what have you, in various vocations, computer, shoe making, beauticians, like we also do makeup, repairing of fridge and air conditioners. All of you, we have like 12 different trades that people can get training. And I continue to tell people that even me, I ensure that my kids, they went through vocational training, even after completing their university education. My first daughter is a doctor. When she finished her education, I told her, please pick one vocation that you will love. People were asking me, why do I say a doctor? You will get employment. No, that is not important. What is important to me, now she shows makeup. We call it some other name, makeup. And it was trained. What I was saying is that he would not necessarily have to, whenever he's going to a party on a weekend, now have to pay another person. He doesn't have to take that out of his own personal income. He has known that. He has known that throughout the life. The second one shows catering. I said that if you know catering, you know the way Amanda we were trained is different from how these girls and boys are trained and kids are trained. The kind of food they eat is not the same thing. The kind of the way they set the table is not the same. The kind of things they do. So if you already know that, it means that it's likely the marriage it endures because he will be able to satisfy his husband more. He'll be able to at least enrich the menu in the house. And if for adventure, you want to go into all of this, you already have a source of income to augment whatever you are
side hustle. We call it side hustle.
So if you want to go into it full time, the minimum they get 2,000, 7,000, and they could do like 10 during a week. That is even more than what you will earn in a month.
Yes, at the end of the month. Yes.
Going to government employment. So, but even as we speak, most artisans will come from Togo or wherever into Nigeria. Very proud of bricklayers, painters. The construction industry do not have Nigerian youths into them. And if you see the kind of money these people get, 30% of construction money goes into labor. And when you have more than 70-80% of them coming from Togo, means that they take the work one way or the other into Togo after they may earn the money. Ordinarily before, our people do all of these jobs and they were very proud of them. There are a lot of money to be made from all these jobs.
Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, as we begin to wrap up because of your time, I have two more questions for you. First, if you were not doing this, what would you be doing? If you were not in Parliament, what would have been your other interest of exploring? You have a master's in international law and diplomacy. Would you have gone to law school? Would you have been a farmer? You have a BSc in agriculture.
Literally, farming is one of the best, but it needs, if you are doing other things, it's very, very difficult because you need to personally supervise or full attention into farming if you are not going to run into problems. Though nowadays we now have other ways of monitoring because people could harvest all your fishes early in the morning before you go to the farm and sell all of them. People could have taken your eggs from your whatever. It needs full attention. I would either be a farmer full time or be an hotelier or a real estate person. I like to be in real estate, hotelier, and do farming.
Excellent. A lot of young people are watching this show who have either run for office one time or one office or the other. I have run for office as well as the other. What would be, from your experience, in particular, someone who has been in politics for such a long time, from when he was a youth, in his early 20s, what would be your final advice to young people who have? How do we play the party game? How do we organize? And let me tell you why that is important, sir. I want to go back to your first statement. You were offered one position, but you were able to organize, you were able to mobilize, and you got 20. Now that is exceptional. What is the lesson and the secret that young people of today must learn when it comes to organizing?
Well, it comes from experience, pure love, and the perception of the community about you. Also, for young people who want to go into politics, I also advise that it's not always that everybody should just go into government wanting to be commissioner, wanting to be, but they should also serve in the party. Let the party leader see their worth. Also, when they now have chances and opportunity, when they contest, they should not think it's one attempt and they run away. If you fail, you pick yourself again. You continue to apply yourself. You continue to contest again, contest again until you get to where you want to be. For me, I contested like 7 or 8 times before. The last time, it was not even me that was contesting. It was them now saying, please pick one. But I've done that. I went for House of Assembly. I didn't win. I thought, well, House of Reps came in 1992. I contested. I didn't win. I almost won. I was saying the primary now. I was about the best qualified candidate until they say, okay, we now lost the gubernatorial election. You know, Edu lost the gubernatorial election. So our leaders who were ordinarily thinking about commissionership now felt that, okay, they also want to go into House of Reps. And it was now my coordinator, that was now saying, okay, you should go and contest. Okay, he went. I didn't feel bad about it. I just felt that my opportunity will come. It's not one. You try until God answers your prayer. But God is a wonderful God who always answer prayer. And it's about tenacity, perseverance, and commitment to the goals that you set for yourself.
About tenacity, perseverance, and commitment to the goal that you set for yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been speaking to the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, a two-time local government chairman in Lagos Island local government, a former senior special assistant to the governor of Lagos State, an hybrid politician with experience in both public sector and private sector, and with great impact in his constituency, for which they have been sending him over and over again to represent them. The Right Honorable Eshinlokun, Sonny Wasiu. Thank you so much for your time, sir. We're very, very grateful.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on your program. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And we're so grateful to all your team who have stayed around and stayed extra to make sure that everything is going on well, from Mr. Keke to Barista and Dayo, and all of the others. That Mr. Kole Kadiri, Leia Adeleko, I want to say a big thank you for your time, and to Madam for leaving you to be able to talk to us when you should be having dinner with her. I'm sure that we have learned a lot. Ogunba B. Smile says, very key. God will always answer your prayer with consistent perseverance. Thank you for sharing with us tonight. We wish you a great week and the rest of the year COVID-free by the grace of the Almighty. Have a great evening, sir. To everyone, have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. God bless.